Good morning, I'm Emily Beckett, Digital Marketing Specialist at Sprague.
And I'm Chris Brennan, Wholesale Marketing Rep at Sprague.
Welcome to Sprague's Refined Products Review, where we share what's moving the market, giving you insight into what we're seeing every day. So Chris, winter is right around the corner. We're seeing lots of volatility in terms of geopolitical events that are affecting the crude and heating oil markets.
Winter is right around the corner. Right now, the market is primarily focused on a global supply surplus that is allegedly building and expected to last through 2026. The US EIA forecasts lower oil prices in the coming months, with Brent crude expected to fall all the way till the end of 2025. This general downward pressure is a key factor for short-term markets. Crude and product inventory builds in the OECD countries have yet to materialize to support this view.
So a surplus sounds like good news for customers looking for lower prices, but we are hearing about continued geopolitical tensions. How are those factors balancing each other out?
It's a real balancing act, and that's why we're seeing persistent volatility in the market. On one hand, OPEC Plus members have been gradually increasing production targets in an attempt to regain market share, which adds to the supply glut and puts downward pressure on prices. On the other hand, we have major geopolitical flashpoints all over the news. The Russia-Ukraine conflict, specifically Ukrainian drone attacks on Russian oil infrastructure, is disrupting Russia's refined fuel exports. These disruptions create significant supply risks, which can cause sudden price spikes like we've seen the last couple of months, especially for refined products like heating oil, just as winter demand picks up.
So it sounds like the overall trend for crude might be down due to the general surplus. So is the heating oil market more vulnerable?
Exactly. We've seen U.S. distillate inventories, which include heating oil, continue to trend below the 5-year seasonal average. And combined with the issues in Russia and occasional U.S. refinery outages, such as recent fire at Chevron's El Segundo facility in California and the Canadian East Coast refinery still on maintenance turnaround, the heating oil and ultra-low sulfur diesel market is tighter than the crude market. This can lead to higher prices in the short term, despite the lower overall crude price forecasts.
And on the topic of OPEC Plus, they just had a meeting. What came out of that?
The key OPEC Plus members announced they will implement a modest production increase of 137,000 barrels per day in December. However, they also decided to pause any further increases during the first quarter of 2026. Citing seasonality and concerns about the potential market glut if they add too many barrels during a period of seasonally weaker demand. The move is seen as an effort to stabilize prices and to prevent a sharp price decline.
So a complex picture is in the upcoming season for dealers and their customers. What key events should we be watching for in the future?
Well, we'll be monitoring news out of the Middle East for any escalation that could disrupt major shipping lanes or supply. The effectiveness of sanctions on Russia oil infrastructure also add to the constant uncertainty. China tariffs seem to have cooled off for the moment. And finally, U.S. inventory reports and the actual pace of winter demand across North America and Europe will be critical in determining stability in the heating oil market this winter.
So there's certainly a lot to keep an eye on. Thanks, Chris, for your insights. Do you have any winter weather predictions for us?
The November forecast seems to be trending colder than expected, so that's going to give a good start to the season for all of our customers. And the weak La Nina, as predicted, could set up favorably for some nice December cold. And after that, it's anyone's guess. While I do have my weather machine back at home set for a wild and woolly winter, truth be told, I think everyone would be happy with the return to the average winter degree days, and maybe with a couple of nor'easters thrown in for good measure.
Well, thanks so much for joining me, Chris.
And thank you for having me.
Before we go, be sure to mark your calendars for our next special feature, an overview of Sprague's customer setup and customer care teams releasing this Friday, November 7th.
That's all for today, and thanks for joining us. We'll be back next Wednesday with another Refined Products Review. Refine your insights.
Fuel your success.
Emily, do you want to hear some great jokes?
Always.
Why is a snowman never late?
Why is that?
Because time waits for snowman.